We are pleased to be here and to represent Achieving the Dream in this very important work. I know that many of you on the call are familiar with ATD and may be at Achieving the Dream Network colleges. For those who aren't, we just want to give you a little bit of a quick orientation. We are a national network, a nonprofit organization based in Silver Spring, Maryland, just outside of Washington, D.C. And we work with a network of nearly 300 institutions, community colleges, technical colleges, and tribal colleges and universities. These institutions are committed to helping their students, particularly low-income students and students of color, achieve their goals for academic success, personal growth, and economic opportunity. We do our work with these colleges by focusing through a framework of institutional capacities in 7 essential areas, one of which is teaching and learning, which we are focused on today. Along with nearly 80 coaches and advisors around the country, we work in 41 states and the District of Columbia. Our teaching and learning work has focused on building OER degree pathways, engaging adjunct faculty in the student success movement, most recently with Every Learner, implementing adaptive courseware in gateway and foundational courses for early success. And we have a new teaching and learning toolkit that we're very excited to publish in just a few weeks on the topic of building a culture of excellence in teaching and learning. So we're very excited to be with you. My colleague Susan Adams, who's an instructional designer at Achieving the Dream, is going to share details in just a couple of minutes about a service that we're pleased to share with you today. Just before that, I just want to talk about the focus right here on digital learning. ATD's work on teaching and learning is quite broad, but we're very excited about the focus of this work. Digital learning comprises the teaching practices that use technology to enhance learning. This includes a broad range of content and communication tools, curricular models, design strategies, and services that personalize instruction for students in blended and online learning environments. The course that Susan's going to present to you in just a moment focuses, I think, on a number of these key elements, including design factors, communication tools, strategies that we know can personalize instruction for students, make it more culturally responsive, culturally affirming, and provide experiences for students that are helping us move in the direction of closing equity gaps. Through digital learning, faculty can adapt instruction to student capabilities, promote active and collaborative learning, and more easily support learners with timely feedback. I would say all of this work that we do around digital learning and teaching and learning more broadly is aimed at both full-time and adjunct faculty, as we know that many of the institutions we work with have, frankly, the majority of the folks teaching at their institutions are there part-time. So we do want to name that and make sure people understand that this is an important part of the focus of our work. Susan, I'm going to turn to you to provide details on the course.
Great. Thanks so much, John. We're excited to present this to you as a service package here for an online course that can be 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the institutional needs. Faculty will work in cohorts to design or redesign a course using the backwards design planning framework. This will be with support of faculty developers and instructional designers that act as guides in providing personalized support needed for the effective design process. So there'll be a lot of touch points and a lot of feedback throughout the whole course. So this includes guiding faculty to design or redesign their current assessment plans, to create opportunities for students to demonstrate skills and knowledge by performing realistic tasks within the discipline. So we really want to personalize this course to the faculty, to the department, in groups of cohorts, so that we can contextualize these strategies for digital learning. So faculty will practice creating accessible online activities that encourage active learning, cooperation among students, and student to faculty interaction. Participants will also be guided through a reflective process to develop or even revisit their instructional approaches to create and maintain an equity-minded and culturally affirming virtual classroom. At this point in the world, this is critical and more important than ever. So we want to guide and have with peer-to-peer interactions and with facilitators to really help. What does it mean to design a culturally affirming activity? Something that honors and uplifts the personal backgrounds of their students. And here's our list of learning outcomes. So participants will be able to, at the end of the course, design again or redesign a course using the backwards design planning framework that aligns learning outcomes with assessments, learning activities, and content. They'll develop or revisit strategies for developing class community and interaction that employs that equity-minded and culturally affirming teaching practices. They'll design or redesign current assessment plans to ensure it includes that authentic assessment and also that accessible online activities that encourage that active learning. They'll also be creating and curating existing content that directly supports students completing those activities and assessments while considering open educational resources. We'll also create a logical and consistent modular course structure. So we'll speak to that here in the next slide. So the modules, those 6 of them, start with the backwards design planning framework. Then we'll get into the equity-minded and culturally affirming teaching practices, which will set the stage for going deeper into developing the online activities and assessments. Then we'll move into generating and structuring the course content itself and creating a blueprint for the course. And then once the course is built, creating and looking at your own teaching presence online. So what does it mean to have a social, cognitive, and teaching presence online in a virtual environment? And also creating an online learning community. We'll also have you do a course review with a rubric and creating a course teaching guide so that if you were to pass the course on to another instructor, there's guiding notes for each module so they understand your thinking. So the course itself will contain each module will contain most, if not all, the following components. There'll always be an introduction to the module, giving learning activities and an activity checklist. There'll be one all-class live synchronous session per module. This will be recorded as well. And then there'll be optional peer-to-peer live synchronous sessions per module as well, which will be highly recommended. And then each module will include readings, videos, websites, and other materials that contain the key content and information needed to progress through the modules and activities and prepare for the assessments. There'll also be asynchronous discussions, and this will be for all class, peer-to-peer sharing, Q&A, and course content, Q&A of the course content. So instructor feedback on module assignments will also be part of each module, and then each week there'll be virtual office hours every week. So that's kind of what the touch points will look like. Again, emphasizing a lot of feedback with the facilitators to contextualize the content that's being built by each faculty member. So the course expectations is that we're designing this to be personalized and collaborative. Participants will leave the course with a fully built out course and a teaching guide that act as a master shell for a department or an area of discipline. And participants can use an existing course or build a course from scratch. It's designed to meet either one of those needs. So each module lasting 1 to 2 weeks, again, includes the readings, videos, discussions, and regular and consistent feedback from facilitators on each course element in the design process. And we anticipate the time on task for participants to be around 7 to 10 hours per week, and that'll include reading the course materials, developing course elements, receiving the feedback, and engaging in that one live session per module, as well as the asynchronous discussions. So I'd like to give you a little peer into the course. I've taken some screenshots. We will be deploying the course in Achieving the Dreams instance of Canvas. So this is the homepage where they have links to the Start Here section, as well as to each module, and a link to the virtual classroom Zoom link that will be used throughout the course. And then here's a screenshot of the opening activity. I really like to ask faculty, and I think one of the greatest ways for them to get to know each other is to tell the story of their course and to think of it as a story. So I asked them to think about how will the course transform their students, and why is the course important for their learning and in the context of the discipline. And I also like them to explore, because they're moving often from face-to-face to fully online, that with technology, disregarding technology or any platform, what is their dream activity or their final project? And that helps facilitators kind of clue into what the faculty might be trying to, the challenges of the redesign from face-to-face to fully online in a virtual environment. So it gives a little window into that with that question. So each activity always has due dates and guidelines, making sure that that's clear for each assessment. And here is just again, screenshot of the module 1, which is the backwards design planning framework. And each module will have that overview, readings, discussion and feedback, and then an assignment. And each assignment is long lasting, right? So it's actually creating what they need to build the course. And that's essentially each assignment for each module. And this is a page within module 1 where they're going to go through the backwards design process, and they'll be filling out a template that again identifies their desired results, determines acceptable evidence, and plans their learning experiences. And again, that'll be reviewed by facilitators and given detailed feedback. Module 2 goes into developing online assessments, again, overview, readings, discussions, and they'll be submitting a draft of their course map based on that template from the backwards design planning framework. And then this is just a screenshot of what an overview looks like. So developing and assessments and activities, where each module I always list what they will learn and what they're actually going to do. So giving the learning outcomes, but then a checklist of what they're going to do for that particular module. So it's clear, but also modeling how we would want them to build out each module within their learning management system within their campus. So that's all I have, is a very quick overview, and looking forward to any questions that you have.